Well, I should say welcome, I guess, to my final press conference. I will tell you, in all honesty, I was not going to have a final press conference, and it may be a little different than what you might have expected. But this last week has been, as you can imagine, hectic. We should have had you walk by my office to see the disaster of trying to box up 28 and a half years of stuff that I was never a collector. I didn't start out collecting hats or cups or anything else, but as a friend, a former mayor of Trenton said when he walked in and he screamed, "What are you, a hoarder?" Every time somebody handed me something, I thought, well, geez, I had to put it on display. So I had 28 and a half years of hats and cups and every imaginable thing, and we're going to donate a good number of those to Goodwill with a letter saying that we hope that they can sort of help their cause and the good work they do by selling those items. Somebody might want an Ohio State shirt that's been in my office for 28 years, but I can't wear everything that people have given me, and I hope, number one, they understand that and they're not offended, but I just can't, I don't have room in my apartment, number one. The fact that I've had the opportunity to serve the citizen of Akron for 41 and a half years, I will tell you without question, I would never have imagined starting out at 23 years old just believing that I owed my community something, because they had been so good to me. And I didn't have to go to Vietnam. Some of you are old enough to remember that sense and feeling. I had a 113 lottery number. I think they got to 108, and I went into the second batch, and I had a full ride scholarship, and I knew that it was some God-given talent and some good coaching and a little bit of hard work. And while I joke around, it wasn't free. I've had 4 knee operations. I got arthritis everywhere, including my shoulders. I still felt very fortunate, and I ran and gave back. And I remember getting in the first interview with a woman, last name Kusit, and I told her I'm just going to serve maybe 2 or 4 terms. I remember using the word 4 or 6 years, try to get something done, mostly as every other new council person like John Valley and others coming in here. I want to get more police and more parks, more ball fields. Found the people here in this building, a remarkable group of people, city council members, especially at that time, wonderful group of hardworking, dedicated people, the need for the public, for their time, the appetite for them, insatiable. There's no way you could spend enough time with everybody to meet all their demands. And I learned from my grandmother when I was 16 years old going to work at McDonald's, where she sat me down and said, "Donnie, you have to understand when you work with people, the majority of people are going to be nice to you, and even if you mess up, they're still going to be okay. But there's a group of people, no matter how hard you work, no matter what you do for them, they're never going to be happy. And if you only remember that group, you won't do the duties and do the work for the other group." And the best bit of advice, certainly politically, I would argue, in life, you're never going to make everybody happy. I have been fortunate, and I just want to say it one more time, to work with the most honest, hardworking, dedicated professionals here at this room and throughout this building and throughout the city. Former my cabinet members, 28 and a half years. 28 and a half years. 28 years and 5 months to be exact, for some of you who will call me a liar because I said 28 and a half, but 28 years and 5 months. And not a single cabinet member was ever even charged with a crime, let alone convicted. I just ran into 2 FBI guys, just sort of accidental kind of things that happen in life, and I challenged them. Tell me anywhere in this country where they've had that kind of record. It did not happen by accident. It was a created atmosphere here that we do the job. We put the citizens first. There's a transparency that we never get credit for, a level of professionalism here that we don't get credit for probably enough, given the fact that I spent my 28 and a half years trying to look for the best people, and more than about half, maybe more than half, were former civil servants who came up through the system, became managers, took tests, and showed that they could do the job, and I made them cabinet members, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud of other people that we brought in, John Valley and neighborhood issues that he knew better than anyone serving as a ward councilman. There's so many people that I cannot thank all of them enough, including the city workers. I was at a construction site yesterday, and this just came to me. I'm just ad-libbing this. There's 3 sentences here. Tell them about your final week. But I stopped at this construction site, and there must have been 9 or 10 people, and it's one that's been lingering for a while. And I just shook my head to the guys, and I made a couple jokes, but I said, you know, it seems to me that you got 9 or 10 people out here. You've been forever, and I lost the bet because I said that this would be done way before I retired, and here I am retiring before this is done. It seems to me that 3 city employees could have had this done like 2 months ago. It's probably a joke with people maybe in the private sector, but I have the feeling that in spite of the statement that was made on council that our city employees work just as hard, care just as much, probably more, being city workers and being asked to do the things that they do, even beyond what private sector workers do. And so I want to thank them. I've had a run of union presidents. I've had 6 or 7 more recently, but I think I've had 56 union presidents, and I would do a handshake deal with 48 of them and have every bit of confidence when I walked out of the room that I had their commitment and they wouldn't break it. And there's, in my opinion, another sort of statistic that I don't think that could be matched anywhere, and I've been fortunate to have that. I'm not going to go over which persons are which. You might be able to guess one of them. But the reason that I really decided to do this is that we started a process way before and I wanted to start it 3 years ago, with political things and the things going on. But a couple of years ago, I saw where the city of Hampton, Virginia's city manager started an I Value project. And it was simple but insightful in terms of what we get in this business when we have a meeting, a public meeting. All of the folks, and I'm going to just be pretty straightforward here, nuts in many instances, who always stand up, they're always critical. You probably know some of them very closely. They constantly stand up, take the microphone, and talk all the time.